Welcome back to Collecting Chaos. Recently, and of course this is the Sunday show, which means this is the day that I talk about defects in comics, right? But it's a little more than that. Not just defects in comics, but ways to repair comics when necessary, ways to clean comics if necessary, and other things. Recently I ran across something called Absorbing. And this is used to clean books and paper and paintings and all kinds of stuff, and it's supposed to work really well. And I figured, well, I'll give it a shot on a comic book. Now, I've read the instructions online, and I've also read the instructions here. And what it says to do is take a handful, and it's almost like a kneaded eraser. And I've got a handful already that I've been playing around with, although mostly just to get it so that I'd be able to knead it easily and quickly. And it says to run along the comic or along the paper in a single direction. And so of course I needed a dirty comic. Now first I thought, Tom and Jerry, it's pretty dirty. It's not the best in the world. It definitely could use a little bit of a cleaning. And I looked at it and I thought, well, it's not that bad. And I could do it with other methods. It might be just as well. But I figured we'll give it a shot for a few seconds and see what happens. I've got it nice and pliable now, so it's supposedly about ready to work. So I'm going to take it along the edge here, about the middle, and I'm just going to gently go across and see what happens. And apparently it's supposed to clean it, and it doesn't affect ink, supposedly. So that's why I'm using a cheap comic to see what would happen. And I did look this up, and it appears to be a reprint, but it doesn't appear to be anything rare. Some of the Whitman reprints are really rare. And I do see a small difference, not much of one. I'd be willing to bet that this takes a lot more time than going over it with the dry erase, sir. I worry a little bit about using a dry eraser on comics, because I think it would take away the gloss a lot quicker, a lot easier, a lot faster. I am seeing a little improvement, but like I said, it's not much. I don't know, maybe I need to press it down a little heavier. I don't know. It definitely isn't fast, but I do notice it's a little bit, I think it might be a little cleaner. Feels a little smoother than what it did before. So let me get a different comic that's really dirty. One that everybody more interested in. This is Batman 228 from February of 1971. And with that much white on the cover, you know it's dirty. And it has, a little bit of a spine roll that I'll fix eventually. A lot of white on the back cover too. So we're going to concentrate on the back for right now. looks like it has a water stain or something on it also. Didn't see that before. I'm definitely seeing an improvement on this one. I'm pressing down a little tiny bit harder than I did on the other one. Now this feels a little bit rough to touch. So let's see what happens after I go over it a little bit. It's definitely taken the surface dirt off. It feels a lot smoother than what it did. Yeah, that's a whole lot smoother. And the front cover feels really rough, real gritty. So we'll try that and see what happens. And the comic's fairly low grade, so I'm not too worried about hurting it. Yeah, that's a lot smoother than what it was. I actually think it is taking the surface dirt off. Might not be getting in the ground in dirt. It might if I did this long enough. But it definitely removes surface dirt, and it removes it very quickly, very cleanly. And the nice part about it is apparently you can go over ink and it doesn't. Oh yeah, that feels a whole lot smoother. But apparently going over the ink in the comic doesn't hurt it, which is something I would not do with an eraser. Or a yeah, I wouldn't do this with an eraser, that's for sure. And I definitely wouldn't do it with the magic eraser. But I think this, going over it like this the first time, and then afterwards going over it with maybe a regular white eraser, going over the white parts with a white eraser, would really make the comic stand out. Just make it almost brilliant. Of course, with a white eraser, you have to be really careful because if you press down hard with a white eraser, you're looking for trouble. Let me get it out of my box here. If I can find it. Where's my eraser? There it is. Yeah, see, go over it with that, and then very lightly. I do like this. It's called Absorine, and I think it was about $6 or $7. I absolutely like it. It does remove dirt, The comic feels so much smoother than what it did before I started. The back still needs a little work, but I think going over it with this first, and then the really tough spots that don't come clean, you might go ahead and use the old white eraser. Or if you don't like using the white eraser, a bit of the dry erase. I think a combination of all three of these can really help a comic out. I'm not getting much off of it. No, it's not taking much off. Stuff is pretty good. I like it. It would take a while to do it this way. I'm impressed. I think it would be worthwhile to just use this and this alone to clean a comic, even though it would take a long time. Simply because it doesn't take away from the ink. If you did what I just did with the white eraser or the little bit of magic eraser, you'd lose ink. You would definitely have a problem. But with this, I'm just really impressed by what it does. You don't notice that much right away, but over the course of doing this and filming this little video, I have seen a definite improvement, especially on the front cover. I mean, this is just, it's amazing. Definitely something to add to your arsenal. And with that, I'm going to put this back in the container because I don't want to lose it. Of course, I have plenty more. But I think we're done for this video. I will definitely have a link to their website in my in the description. And yeah, talk to you tomorrow. Bye.